The Qur'an is the holy book of the Islamic religion, and in the belief of Muslims, it is the words of a single God with the original name Allah, which was revealed by Gabriel to the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad bin Abdullah. Muslims consider the Qur'an to be the greatest miracle of Muhammad and the clearest proof of his prophethood. The Qur'an is the main source of revelation in Islam and is written in classical Arabic. The word Qur'an literally means reading, and Muslims usually refer to it with titles such as Holy Qur'an and Magic Qur'an. The Qur'an is full of various topics such as social issues, monotheism, ethics, religious issues, and the stories of past prophets. But the issue that makes people realize that it is a miracle in this age is the scientific issues that were mentioned in this book 1400 years ago and are accurately and without error. It has been mentioned in the case that science has achieved it for less than In this video, we are going to introduce you to one of the scientific miracles of the Qur'an. Claudius Ptolemy, 90–168 AD, was one of the ancient Greek philosophers and astronomers who most likely lived in Alexandria, Egypt. He proposed a model for the known universe of his time, in which the Earth is at the center of the universe, and the Sun, the Moon, and the rest of the planets and other celestial bodies revolve around it. In Ptolemy's era, instead of the orbit, which is the hypothetical path of the planets, they used the concept of the constellation. A firmament is a solid and invisible spherical body, like glass, in which the Earth is placed in the center and the planet is tightly bound to its environment. As the constellation revolves around the Earth, the planet also revolves around the Earth. During his period, more than 4 planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, were not discovered. He said, "There are 8 or 9 stars, the last of which is called the starry sky, on which all the stars are located." Also, Ptolemy believed that God and angels live after the heavens. The theory that Ptolemy presented about the universe is called the central Earth model. By observing the apparent movement of the Moon and the Sun, he presented the theory of the central Earth, which later Nicolas Copernicus presented the theory of the central Sun and modified his opinion.
والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون.
And the sun, which is smooth until its position. This measurement, God, is invincible, all-knowing, and we made the moon a place of abode for it, until it returns like an ancient horn, a yellow-shaped bow. Not the sun is worthy for it to find the moon, and 9 nights precede the day, while each one is floating in an orbit. Rotational and current movement of the Sun, scientific point. On the day when these verses were revealed, the hypothesis of Ptolemy's delegation dominated the scientific circles with all the power. According to this hypothesis, the heavenly bodies did not move by themselves, but they were nailed in the heart of the heavens, where crystalline bodies were densely packed together like layers of onion skin, and their movement was subject to the movement of their heavens. Therefore, on that day, neither the floating of the sun nor its longitudinal and current movement made any sense. But after the collapse of Ptolemy's hypothetical foundations, in the light of the discoveries of recent centuries and the release of heavenly bodies from the chains of the crystalline heavens, this theory gained strength. That the sun is fixed and motionless in the center of the solar system, and the entire solar system revolves around it like a butterfly. Here again, the meaning of the expressions of the above verses, which attributed longitudinal and periodic movement to the sun, was not clear until science continued its progress, and movements for the sun were proven. Movements such as 1. Its positional movement around itself, 2. Its longitudinal movement, along with the solar system, towards a specific point in the sky, 3. Its rotational movement, along with the galaxy complex that is a part of it. And thus, another scientific miracle was proved for the Qur'an. In order to make this issue clearer, we bring here a part of the discussion about the movement of the sun in one of the encyclopedias. The sun has apparent movements, daily movement and annual movement, and real movements. The sun participates in the daily movement and the apparent movement of the celestial sphere. In our hemisphere, it rises in the east, passes through the meridian in the south, and sets in the west. It determines its crossing of the meridian, true noon. The sun also has an annual, apparent movement around the Earth, which takes it nearly 1 degree from west to east every day. In this movement, the sun passes in front of the towers once a year. The orbit of this movement is located in the plane of the ecliptic. This movement has been very important in the history of astronomy. The equinoxes and the revolution and the general inclination are related to it, and the solar year is based on it. In addition, the apparent motions of the circular movement of the galaxy rotate the sun in space at a speed of about 1,130,000 kilometers per hour. But inside the galaxy, it is not constant, but at a speed of about 72,400 kilometers per hour. It moves along the side of the constellation, and the fact that we are unaware of this fast movement of the sun in space is due to the distance of the constellations, which is also the source of the detection of this special movement. The period of the sun's positional movement at its equator is about 25 days and nights. What the Bible has informed about is the same sentence that says, "And the sun rejoices like a warrior running in the field." This sentence only refers to the transitional movement of the sun, because wrestlers run forward in circles in the fields. However, other movements such as longitudinal translational movement, positional movement, temporal movement, and circular movement of the sun are among the initiatives of the Qur'an, which proves its scientific miracle